Imagine a new North American Pope. A figure unlike any other, emerging from the shadows of global power. He speaks with the smooth, calming voice of a shepherd, but behind his eyes hides something far darker. He is not just a religious leader, he is the embodiment of a new world order. In the book of Revelation, chapter 13, a second beast rises to the surface, one that seems harmless at first, like a lamb. But it speaks like a dragon. It is a creature of deception, manipulating the hearts and minds of millions. It doesn't rely on brute force like the first beast, but instead, it bends people's wills through subtle, dangerous manipulation. It performs miracles, it causes fire to fall from the sky, and it forces all to worship the first beast. Now, picture this second beast not as some distant, ancient creature, but as the new North American Pope. A man of charisma, a symbol of unity, a figure whose very presence seems to promise salvation. But in reality, he is something far more insidious. He doesn't seek to conquer through violence, but through the subtle art of psychological manipulation. This Pope is no ordinary spiritual leader. He is an expert in the psychology of control. With his magnetic presence, he draws the masses in, preaching peace and unity, but all the while, he demands more and more. His messages of love and faith are weapons of mass influence, carefully crafted to make followers believe that without him, they are nothing. It's a faith not based on belief, but on survival. The new Pope doesn't force you to bow before him, he makes you want to. He doesn't make you kneel, he makes you believe it's your only choice. People flock to him, worshipping him not just as a religious figure but as the only way to avoid societal collapse. He promises salvation from a world that is falling apart, but in doing so, he creates the very chaos that will justify his rise to power. And then comes the mark. Not a mark of fire or a physical tattoo, but a psychological imprint, a code embedded in the very essence of what it means to exist in this new world. It's not something you can see with your eyes, but something you feel deep inside. Without the mark, you cannot buy, sell, or even exist. But the mark is not just a symbol on the skin, it's an idea, a belief, an understanding that you are connected to this system in ways you cannot escape. As the world falls under his influence, the new Pope gains more and more power. His words are law, and his followers grow exponentially, convinced that they have found the one true path. But what they don't see is that their freedom is slowly being eroded, piece by piece, until they are left with nothing but the illusion of choice. This Pope, this figure of peace and unity, is not what he seems. He is the perfect manipulator, using faith as a tool of control. He convinces people that without him, they will be lost. He creates a world where the only option is to follow him, not because they believe, but because they fear what will happen if they don't. Behind the smile, behind the sermons of love and forgiveness, lies the cold, calculating mind of someone who knows the power of the human psyche. He doesn't need to physically control you, he controls your thoughts, your fears, your very sense of self. The Pope is no longer a symbol of faith, but a symbol of totalitarian power. And what is the endgame? The loss of all autonomy. The death of mental and spiritual freedom. As people fall deeper into his influence, they cease to think for themselves. They become mere puppets, dancing to the tune of the new world order he has created. They believe they are free, but in reality, they are trapped, enslaved by their own willing submission. Revelation chapter 13 isn't just about the end of the world, it's about the end of human freedom. It's about the moment when we trade our ability to think, to choose, to live freely, for the false comfort of being told what to believe, what to do, and how to live. The new North American Pope is the perfect embodiment of this psychological trap. He doesn't demand your loyalty with threats of violence, he demands it with promises of peace, salvation, and a better future. But in reality, he is leading humanity toward the ultimate form of slavery, mental and spiritual subjugation. The question is, will we recognize the trap before it's too late? Will we see through the false promises of peace and unity, or will we fall under his spell, believing that there is no way out? The future of humanity may very well depend on whether we can see